This is crazy. Not a breath of wind. We could be in the med. It's predicted 16 degrees today, although recently the weather has been really weird, and saying it's 16 to 18 degrees but feeling more like 6. So cold in the UK. So you're not sailing in this again, are we? We've topped up the diesel, and I'm very glad I fitted that larger tank. So yesterday we used 20 litres of fuel. In fact, yesterday and the day before we used 20 litres of fuel to do what was it now? Deganwy to the Gazelle was 14 miles, and then Gazelle to Porthington is 26. And we just put 20 litres back in the tank. The tank's back on full. So that's what, 40 miles on 20 litres. And we've got a 62 litre tank. So we've got 120 litres with us, and I think it'll take us 50 litres to get to Fishguard today. We're golden, we're fine. But this is Porthington. Look at it. Previously on Sailing Melody, we are Andy, Melissa, Jack and Ollie. 4 years ago we bought a tiny boat which turned into a huge dream to give up land life, move onto a sailing yacht and sail full time, and maybe one day to sail all the way around the world. So with a tiny budget we got a bigger boat, and then an even bigger boat which we spent 3 years rebuilding for the 3 of us. But then Ollie came along, so we needed an even bigger boat, and for the past year and a half we've been working on Ocean Melody, and we've now achieved our dream of living aboard and have set off on our very, very slow adventure. Jack's still asleep. Ollie's in his, he's awake, right? Ollie's in his car seat here. Melissa's going to pull the anchor up. These are a godsend, an absolute godsend. Yeah, we feel silly, feel like Britney Spears.
I've got my hood up to hold mine.
Yeah, but she's, it's a long way from here to the bow, and I'm in the cockpit enclosure.
With a talking baby.
With a baby that's going, oh, and goo-gooing, gargling. So for me and Melissa just to be able to talk nice and calmly, with no shouting and no raised voices, because the thing is, as soon as somebody raises their voice, whether it's in anger or not, it gives the impression of anger and irritation and frustration, and that raises tensions and raises emotions. So this just makes a huge difference.
I think they call them marriage savers.
Yeah. Really, really good. Really pleased.
Currently got how many metres?
About 30. Chain, yeah.
The first part of today's journey takes us down the whole length of the Clym Peninsula from Porthington to Bardsey Island. But when we get to Bardsey, we have a decision whether to go through the Sound, the gap between the island and the mainland, or to go around the outside. Going through is more tricky, going around is further.
I'd just like to announce that this week we will be releasing an extra episode on Saturday, so make sure you set a reminder for this weekend to see what happens next at 6 PM on Saturday BST. Around here there's always lots of lobster pots. Just going around the outside of Bardsey. We're dead into wind, but we're going to get the main up ready for when we turn the corner, and then we can pull out for Genoa.
Well, we've rounded Bardsey Island. The kind of automatic plotting on Navionics said to go through the sound at Bardsey, which I didn't do. I decided to go around the outside because I felt, well, there's no point going through the sound unless you have to. And anyway, it just seemed to me like the tides were completely wrong for that. So we've rounded Bardsey Island and we are now heading almost due south towards Fishguard. We are sailing. I point the boat directly at Fishguard. The sails just luff, and I have to turn off the wind slightly. So we're going to have to put a few long tacks in. What is it? Oh, your flashcards. Tiger.
Okay, tiger.
You're looking for some elephant.
Frog.
Frog. Yeah.
Dinosaur. Jack's on the helm and Andy's having a nap.
Well, it's another windless day, and it's 5 to 6 in the morning. Melissa and Ollie are still in bed, Jack's still in bed, so I'm getting ahead of things and getting us out of Fishguard to get round to Dale. I'm a little bit bleary-eyed, but I've got the anchor up and we're all good to go. We're expecting some not bad but unpleasant weather later on, with lots and lots of rain and reasonably strong winds, and you don't want to be going round Strumble Head or the area of St David's in less than favourable conditions. So that starts at about lunchtime today. So I'm hoping to get into Milford Haven by about 2, so to be at least past Strumble Head, St David's, and round to somewhere like Skomer or Stockholm by the time the bad weather comes in. And then we've just got to get in through St Anne's and up towards Dale if it's nice, or Milford Haven Marina if we feel like we could do with a break. So that's the plan for today. Melissa's in bed with Holly, so we don't want to wake him up too early. But I've got the headset on and she's got another one on, and it means that if I got in real trouble, she could dash out, strap him in his car seat, and give me a hand. It's unlikely to happen. It just means that although I'm single-handing this one, I'm not really single-handing, because there is another adult person who can hear what's going on there, can come and help if needs be. Not quite so pleasant at the moment.
Similar to earlier when we went round the outside of Bardsey Island, we've chosen to go round the outside of Ramsey Island and round the outlying rocks called Bishops and Clarks, and then through Broad Sound between Skomer Island and Stockholm Island, rather than through Jack Sound. Both Ramsey Sound and Jack Sound are perfectly doable, but the tides meant that we would have had to go through them in the dark, so we decided to take the daylight option and go round the outside instead. The change from the clear morning to the lumpy conditions now cast a slightly ominous feeling. The unpredictable sea and overcast skies made the passage through Broad Sound feel less secure. Earlier the conditions had made the sea feel more friendly. Now with the grey skies and choppy waters it did feel more challenging. In actual fact conditions weren't bad at all, but it's amazing how the change from flat seas and clear skies to lumpy water and overcast air can change the mood so much.
It's meant to be summer and it's freezing. Absolutely freezing, it's ridiculous. Feeling sick yet? Huh? Right, it's really bouncy. I need reading a book. I'll leave that in for now. It's rocky down here. I feel fine. Jack was reading, so he now feels a bit sick, so he's gone outside. But I've got to stay in here because Ollie's asleep. I love it though.
Yes, we're motoring because look at the direction we're going relative to the wind. I'll show you. Can you see the birdie on the top of the mast? We're going like literally bang into wind. Plus, it's horrible. Now, this area here, this island is called Skomer Island. Skomer Island is a bird sanctuary. Cue voiceover, if you've not already had it. There's a little humpy bit there, and there's a little tiny gap on one side of the Humvee bit, and then there's a bigger gap on the other side of the Humvee bit, and that is Jack Sound. Now, I've been through Jack Sound several times. I didn't want to do it today with the kids on board, so we skipped Ramsey Sound and Jack Sound, and we went all the way round Bishops and Clarks, and we went all the way around Skomer Island. And this is Stockholm Island on this side. Stockholm Island, not Ian Holm Island, Stockholm Island. And so we're going through Broad Sound, which is between the two. I'm holding the camera very close to me so you can hear me, because I've not got the tie clip mic up. So Stockholm Island, Skomer Island, and the gap there is Jack Sound. And Jack Sound is notoriously horrible. This terrain really is just stunning. It's very much like, I think, like the sort of terrain around Norway. This has been a grim day. Not enjoyable. Horrible, grey, menacing, rolly seas. Just not very pleasant at all. We're arriving in Dale, Anchorage now. And we're just looking, because of the wind direction, whether or not we can actually anchor here. Because obviously if you don't want to anchor if the wind's blowing you onto the shore. If we can't, then we'll carry on another hour and go into Milford Haven Marina. Let's have a look. Cool.
So we're on the pontoon in Dale. It looks beautiful here. Even though it's grey and rainy, it looks very nice. Hopefully a nice little place to spend my birthday tomorrow. We've had a bit of a break and a bit of a refresh, and it's pretty swelly here. It's beautiful, and would love to come back again, but we've decided that we're going to leave. We're just going to head across to Milford Haven and have a night in the marina. It's my birthday tomorrow and we want to go out for a walk and stuff, and it's just a bit swelly and miserable, and the weather's due to pick up overnight, so we're going to head off now rather than tomorrow morning, and treat ourselves to the marina. After we haven't set foot on land for 4 days, so we're probably going to be a bit wobbly when we get off the boat. Somebody's just arriving here. Are they arriving or are they leaving? I think they're leaving. We've had some lunch, we're all getting sorted. I think it's about an hour to Milford Haven from here, so not too far. Ooh, slipping off the side of the boat.
It's only 4.9 nautical miles to Milford from here. We have been into Milford Haven before several times, and we love it there. So we're very glad to be going back. It feels almost like another home port to us.
It does. We did consider
spending winter here.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice.
Last winter.
Last winter, yeah, instead of Carnarvon. But it was too far from our family base for us to spend last winter there.
Yeah.
Now we're kind of gone from the family base, so we could winter wherever we like, although it won't be in Wales. Visibility is very, very poor. I do have a radar that I haven't had a chance to wire up yet. Paul Dark gave me the radar, thanks Paul. Just one of those things that is nice to have, particularly in situations like this. But we're only going an hour, and we've got both of us sort of eyes peeled, lookout. And we'll say the cockpit enclosure has been a godsend as well, because I'm dry. You know, I can see the top of the mast. The cockpit's basically dry, and we're not blasted. Yeah, oh yeah, it will. But we're not being blasted by rain in your face the whole time. We've got good visibility and a nice dry place to stand and helm the boat from. It was definitely worth doing. Just looking at the voyage into Milford Haven from here. It's a very busy shipping lane as this as well. We've got another huge tanker coming in behind us. There's a couple of tugboats waiting to pull him in. I'll show you, you might not be able to see them. So these two tugboats are waiting to attach to that big container.
Last time we came here, we actually arrived in the dark. We got escorted in by the pilot boat.
Well, we weren't aware we were being escorted in until they pulled up alongside us. It's very well buoyed, put it that way. You know, it's just, you can't, literally, the visibility's so bad, you can't see from one buoy to the next. So fortunately, we've got our waypoints and we've got our, you know, bearings and headings all sorted. But yeah, it's very unnerving doing this in a big shipping lane with tugboats and massive tankers and factories looming up out the mist and not being able to see more than about a few hundred yards. It's a bit weird. What it is.
Yeah, as we came in, we were like, oh, we looked at the chart, but we weren't sure what this big square box was in the distance, and it's not actually square. It's round. But there's a big fort there.
I looked it up, and it's called Stack Rock Fort. It was built between 1850 and 1852 by the Royal Commission. It was designed to protect against potential invasions. This mostly circular fort, sitting on a rocky outcrop, was part of a series of coastal defences. It's a really fascinating piece of history, and it really stands out in the area.
It looks tiny on the camera, but that thing is huge.
That's massive. It would wipe us out in a heartbeat.
Don't want to mess with that.
Do you know what's really interesting is I'm mid-migraine at the minute, and I'm just putting on a brave face for YouTube, but I've got a banging headache. Oh, that's my AIS. Yeah, thanks for that. That's the AIS telling me to warning me of a collision with this man here. Now, I'm mid-migraine at the moment, so as soon as we get into Milford Haven, I'm going to have to lie in a dark room with a flannel over my eyes or something. I feel dreadful, but this is my brave face for YouTube. Being brave.
It's this weather.
I'm just slowing right down to let him come in front of us.
Yeah, sensible.
We're not tangling with him, Jack. I'm letting him come in front of us.
Yeah.
Why I'm going super slow.
Oh, he's got a tug on the other side. Gusting out here. Bloody weather. Proud at the moment.
Very much so.
We were going along and we had like 30 metres of depth, and then all of a sudden we had 0.9.
0.9.
And then it went down to 0.4 and then 0.2. Like,
we're all right now. We've got 30 metres of water, but we were following that great big tanker.
Never follow a boat.
Never follow a boat. But I mean, we're in the channel. We're in the Boyd Channel.
There must have been something under there.
There must have been. There must have been. Because that was bizarre. But for a minute I thought, oh no, we've messed up. We've messed up. And I was expecting the crunch and more keel damage and more keel repairs.
Okay. 32.3 metres. I mean, that's bizarre.
0.3 metres under the keel. Honestly, my stomach went a bit funny then.
The alarms were going off. That deserves a beer when we get in.
Gee whiz.
Put that bottle of wine in the fridge, I think.
We have. It's saying 25 metres here, all the way up the blue. Maybe it's mud being kicked up by the tanker.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. It's silt being kicked up by the tanker that's blocking our sonar from hitting the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon what that was. I don't think we were anywhere near shallow water. I think it was a load of silt and mud kicked up by that shipping container that has blocked our sonar, our depth sounder, from bouncing off the bottom.
It's because it's only for like a minute or two, isn't it?
Yeah, until it clears. But either way, that's a lesson learnt. Stay in the deep water
but be confident of your...
Yeah. I mean, it's all calibrated, it's all set up right.
Yeah, I think the lesson learned is be confident of what you've worked out, because the tendency when it says it's shallow, like now, it's going down again.
Going down again, though.
Is to go off course. It's doing it exactly the same way though.
Yeah.
Where it goes down Yeah, it just went down to 2 metres again.
Then I came out of the direct flow from the back of him.
Yeah.
I turned off to port slightly. Yeah, I'm not going to go directly behind the guy because although he's kicking up so much silt, it's just everywhere and it's clouding our depth sounder. I've never heard of that, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Is that a thing? Let us know.
Must be a thing. Must be a thing. We've just discovered it is a thing.
Yeah.
Either that or we are
Really in the wrong place.
Yeah, we might be in Azerbaijan then.
We've not really just arrived in Milford and we're reading the wrong charts. So we're almost here. We just had a very quick de-stressing coffee after that panic moment where we thought we'd run aground in the middle of a busy shipping channel. Yeah, coffee and a biscuit was needed.
In some ways, it's better to run aground in a busy shipping channel because you know they're going to get you off quick.
Yeah, they might find you. But...
Yeah, if you run aground in the middle of nowhere, then you're on your own, kidder.
Yeah.
But you run aground in the middle of Milford Haven shipping channel, they're going to do something about it.
I mean, we were just discussing it over our coffee, just saying like logic says that there's no way we
would run aground. We were following a shipping tanker
in the channel.
But when your brain just goes into panic mode when your depth sounder goes, you know, right down to 0.3 metres.
That's why you shouldn't rely on your instrument.
No, rely on
your chart.
The monitor is good, but look at the patient.
Yeah.
Talking about paramedics. Don't just fixate on the monitor, look at the patient and look at all of the information.
Yeah.
Because the temptation is to panic.
When there's an alarm going off at you, you're going to hit the bottom, you're like, ah!
But the temptation is to go into panic mode and steer off in some random direction.
Confuse everyone else.
Wildly, without thinking about what you're doing. Yeah, and confuse everybody and possibly then do go aground.
Yeah. Also in the pilot book, it says that the channel itself, anyone can use it, but it's marked for the big ships.
Yeah, pilot is for the big
sailing vessels can go either side of the void markers. So, and we were in the middle of the channel.
It's like 30 metres deep. So for it to go from 30 metres to 0.3 metres in a split second, you go...
There's a house under there.
It's a lock at 5 and it's 10 to 5 now. So we go into the lock.
A lock at 5?
Yeah.
So if we get...
Yeah, no, we go into the lock.
Yeah.
And then it'll close the lock gate and let us in.
At 5?
Yeah.
Right.
See, we're not using the radio headset mics now, so Melissa and I are now having to shout to each other, just because we didn't get them out this time. And that makes a big difference, you know. Just having to shout. You know you're off at the front.
We're off at the front.
Okay. We're off at the front, apparently. Right, you can just probably pull this in, lift that over onto the boat, and just fend us off then.
Yeah.
Alright. Keeping the bum out.
Good.
Don't you look at all the other boats?
Yeah.
And we'll see which way they're all facing.
Well, he's told us this side and I'm ready on this side.
Okay. Hold on, just because I'm going round in a very sharp bend.
Pretty sure we've got enough, but just when you approach, maybe slightly slower on the bow.
Yeah.
I know it's hard in there because the water's rushing in there.
Yeah.
Just going to move this fender back slightly.
Okay.
So we're going in front of that, are we?
In front of that, I think, yeah. Oh, right at the end there.
Yeah. We've got someone taking our line, so
Yeah, as I am.
as you are.
Okay. Slow down.
Slow down. I'm just worried about, so because it goes in at an angle,
Yeah.
just worried about hitting the bow. We want the stern line to burst actually, to stop us going forward. The bow line.
Yeah. Let's go. In the center line.
6 foot off about it. About 6 foot off the bow.
Alright, keep going.
Keep going, keep going. Line ashore. He's got the bow of the boat. Just let her back end drift in. Right. Stern line on. Well done.
Great. That's good. That's good. There's some wet Welsh rain. This is actually what they call Pembrokeshire sunshine.
Summer.
Yeah, well, Pembrokeshire summer, but it's also Pembrokeshire sunshine, and it's very similar quality and texture to Welsh sunshine. They must buy it from the same supplier, I think.
They need a refund.
They need a refund. So yeah.
The nice thing about this cockpit enclosure is that we can
get our foul weather gear off in here
and not drag it all downstairs.
Exactly.
I know a lot of you think it's ugly, but it's well, I don't think it's ugly.
I don't think it's ugly at all.
I think it's very functional, and it's.
In fact, if you look at the Kraken 50,
they copied our design.
They copied our design. No. I didn't copy their design. I came up with this design having never seen the Kraken 50's cockpit enclosure. But go look. In fact, I'll put one on the screen, and we would love to go over and sail the Kraken. In fact, if you want to invite us over to test sail the Kraken 50.
And if you want to get us to the size of Le Vagabond, then subscribe.
So you guys have got to get us to the size of Le Vagabond, and then Kraken have got to invite us over to test sail the Kraken 50.
So we can buy one.
And our pledge is, if we get to the same size as Le Vagabond, or similar, we will buy a Kraken 50 for real money. Because that is my dream boat. But if you look at the cockpit enclosure, it's a lot better than this one. But it's a similar. If you kind of half squint your eyes and look from a distance, it sort of looks a bit similar.
Put your rose tinted glasses on.
Yeah, rose tinted glasses. Right, I'm going in.
Oh, that's Melody's cockpit enclosure.
It is, yeah. Obviously designed by the same people.
Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to leave us a comment and a thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, please do go ahead and subscribe so that YouTube will push our channel to more people. And don't forget, we've got an extra episode coming this week on Saturday.